brought a hat. Or better sunglasses. Okay, so it's now Tuesday, and Jackie, so she didn't fly because her flight actually got cancelled. She initially was supposed to fly in this morning, but that one's cancelled. And then she's like, I'm gonna cancel the whole cruise because it doesn't make sense for her to fly into one of the islands and get on the cruise again. So that means she's not, as we know, she's not gonna come over, and that means we have some time amongst three of us to spend here in Lisbon still. And one of the ideas Mirka had, which I think is a great idea, is she has kept a notebook during calls of people's questions or things, you know, that she just thinks of, like questions that she wants to create content on. And she brought the book to Lisbon actually. So we were thinking this afternoon to sit down somewhere and kind of go through the questions and, you know, give you guys some advice or share our thoughts on it, because obviously they'll be anxiety related and regarding the anxiety recovery journey. So it'll be very interesting. I hope it's going to be very interesting for you guys to you know, to get that value from this, even though despite we are unfortunately not getting to see Jackie. She did actually send me a photo, I think, so give me a second. She is flying home and she sent me this photo which is looks like she's enjoying herself. Look at that. So we might actually give her a ring when she's up, when she's awake. Let's see how she's doing. And we talked a little bit yesterday. We talked a little bit about, you know, feelings of being disappointed or sad or whatever you want to call it, and how to kind of deal with it. One of the things we always discuss is you know, breaking the pattern by kind of asking yourself, is it productive? Does it actually help? Like Mirka said yesterday, like, does me like getting frustrated or being very disappointed, like I felt honestly about, you know, Jackie not being here, does it bring her here? If the answer is no, then, you know, there's no point on worrying about it. Keep on worrying about it. But obviously we want to allow the feelings to be, so I did allow that disappointment to be. We had a nice conversation about it, and now I think it's something we kind of processed, and we'll make the best use of the time we have left here. So, hey there, Jackie. Hoping you can hear me with all the noise here in Lisbon.
Did they actually go on strike, or were we just fooled by the airline?
I have no idea. We did some Googling, and they said tomorrow there's going to be a strike. Wednesday.
So here's what happened. We flew from Columbus to Boston and went to the Sky Club. While we were in the Sky Club, Delta, our flight was canceled because of mechanical difficulties.
Right.
That was like 11 o'clock at night. At 1 o'clock, we got a message that the flight that was supposed to take the place of it was also canceled. Yeah. So there was still a flight to Lisbon, but it was completely booked up. So,
oh, really? I saw that flight, yeah,
yes,
on the tracker.
We couldn't get on that flight.
Yeah.
So to go the next day would have let us not connect with the cruise, which would have put us. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's where I feel like a failure. We could have tried to connect through British Air or TAP, but they couldn't guarantee we would get there in time for the cruise. And then we would be stuck in Portugal with a impending strike and no way to get back except to buy more airline tickets. So I feel like such a failure because I didn't take that chance. Well, 10 years ago, I would have taken that chance and said, no problem, put me on there, I'll go. But I just couldn't do it.
I get it, because if you put it all underneath each other, all the details you just said, it wouldn't make any sense to gamble on it. And you were like, I don't want to do that. Doesn't sound good to me. I'm not going to do it. How is that a failure, right? It's basically, if anything, the airlines and the airport kind of, yeah, that's okay. The airlines were failing, not you, obviously. You made a decision based on the facts that you had, which is what anyone, like any sensible person, without anxiety would do, right? It doesn't have nothing to do with anxiety, it sounds.
Really?
The trip, the cruise, that was the main thing, right? And if you don't know, if there's a likely chance you're gonna miss the connection to the actual cruise, and then the planes were on strike, it makes sense to say, I don't want to go through all of that. I would actually rather than fly back home, which isn't not failure on your part. It's basically it's a decision, isn't it? You could have made a different decision. You decided this, but it's not a bad decision.
If I had been sure that I could get there and get on the ship, I would have gone. No, I was very anxious flying
Yeah,
and everything, but I was going to do it. But as
yeah,
soon as this, it was almost like an out. I have an out. Does that
yeah. I
make
mean, like
sense?
it 100% does. And look, it's I think what we kind of sometimes we overcredit the part that anxiety plays in it, because everyone has anxiety, right? Everyone has fear.
Right.
So you having the fear of getting stuck somewhere and having to buy plane tickets and everything, more hotels, more spending and everything, those are like valid fears, aren't they? They're like,
Right.
again, you're based on the list of options, you made a decision, and yes, there's some fear attached to that. There's some fear, an element of fear that plays a part. And but what I see often with people in the recovery journey is they overcredit the anxiety, and then like literally say like, it was because of anxiety I made this decision. I took the easy
Right.
cut, even though you forget you were on 2 planes. You stayed for a whole day in Boston. You were on 2 plane rides already, made it through everything, made it through like delays and all that crap. And you're back home now. I mean, like that is a travel on its own already. It's just a shitty one. It sucks. But you went
Yeah.
through all of that. You were anxious before the trip, which only
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense. I would, because it's the first one in 6 months. But you dealt
Yeah.
with it. You responded. You showed me. You sent me messages. You sent me a photo. Like you were dealing with it.
Right.
But if the list looks so bad, and you're like, I don't actually want to get stuck in London or everything like that, you make a decision, and there's a little bit of fear of like what ifs, which is natural, which is the brain, how the brain actually functions and helps us. Because what if I get stuck here? Then I need to make a different decision. I'm also now thinking about like my flight tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Like, is it going to be on strike? What if it is? What will I do then? Well, it's not productive for me to now think all the scenarios, but I can do some research already. Are there other options? How's it looking? That's productive, at least to me, right? So it's like you really want to be careful to not overcredit the anxiety and say, I was just so anxious I had to get back home. No, the flights were canceled. There's a strike going on, and it's a very high chance you missed the whole cruise, which is the whole point of you flying
Right.
across the ocean. Get it, right? So that's
True.
the mistake our brain makes, like overcrediting the anxiety part of it. Naturally, you had anxiety. I'd be surprised if you didn't have any anxiety, but the decision wasn't fully based on the fact that you felt anxious. You actually went through a lot of shit and made a decision that was the best one out of a couple of shitty decisions. You could have made a different decision, would have been fine, but you made this one, which is it's your decision, right? It's not just
Right.
anxieties. That's at least my opinion, the way I look at it. I'm kind of hoping that
Thank you.
resonates with you at least.
Thank you. You've given me a new life. You have no idea.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much,
Yep.
Jackie. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon. I'll speak to you soon. Yeah.
Enjoy Lisbon. Have
Yeah,
a
will do.
wonderful time.
Thank you. Will
Okay.
do. Okay. Bye bye, Jackie. Bye bye. That's it. That was really nice. That was really nice. I feel for her. She's doing the brain's doing what the brain does, which is if you don't catch that, it's gonna do more. So she's now reminded to catch herself going into unproductive behavior, where she's beating herself up over this decision, which is what sometimes happens when you have anxiety, where you then think, oh, you made the decision solely on anxiety, which previously may have been true, but no, this now sounds like a decision that even a friend without anxiety made, which is a decision based on all the facts, the best decision out of 2 shitty ones. And beating yourself up over it after coming home only makes it worse. She's gonna come to Mirka's call tonight, so we'll be excited to see her. And this gives me a better feeling about this trip now, seeing her and speaking, and yeah, she's doing amazing. So yeah.
Do you want to do it like you would like maybe say like a couple sentences just like introduce the topic, and then we would go just through the points? And I was thinking maybe I say the point and you explain, and then you say the
And the
next
other
point
way
and
around.
I explain.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think that's nice? So it's
Yeah.
like a...
Okay. Let me ask you the first one.
Yeah, check it. What is it? What it is?
So do you need to say something about it didn't work?
Yeah, you should say something about that. Yes.
You only change your patterns around anxiety and not around life.
Yeah, so basically what that means is people learn to respond to anxiety, to their symptoms, and everything around that. So yeah, they're doing that right. But then any life stressor, any life event that they don't like and it causes them discomfort, they still go in with resistance because they make it somehow different. Like anxiety symptom, okay, I won't be resisting that, I understand. But then they go resisting like having an argument with someone, or dwelling on the argument, all of those things. And they don't realize one thing: you can change your response to anxiety and the symptoms, but if you don't change your response to life stressors, the anxiety is gonna stay because that's how you created it in the first place. You didn't become anxious from resisting symptoms of anxiety. You had none. You were resisting life stressors, life triggers, and having a hard time dealing with your thoughts and emotions. So if you only change your response to anxiety and to anxiety symptoms, but you don't work on your patterns in life in general, you also won't be able to recover fully.
Like that. That is actually such an important one. Which took me a while to gotta figure out, I think.
Yeah.
Will we continue?
Yes, we do the second one and then we can do the third one when we're done.
Okay, here are 5 most common misunderstandings about acceptance. Mirka, you start. First one, people think acceptance means they have to like the anxiety.
Yeah, this is very common. People always say like, I'm accepting, but I don't like it, I hate it. How can I accept that? Or am I really accepting it? Like, because I really hate it. But I think people are forgetting very simple thing. Like, you can accept something and you can still not like it. Jackie's flight got canceled, right? We accepted that Jackie is not coming. Doesn't mean we're happy about it. Doesn't mean we like it, but we are accepting it. So acceptance doesn't have anything to do with you actually liking the thing or being at peace with it. Accepting it basically means I understand that me fighting this doesn't really change anything, so I'm just not gonna do that because I realize it's pointless. Okay.
Do you want to do that last one? That's
we don't
more
have
yours?
to. We don't have to. If you don't want to, we don't have to. What is it? I think we need to go.
Yeah, we need to go.
But those two are great.
We can also, yeah, fine.
Those two are amazing. I think we've done well. It was fast, right?
Yeah.
See?
What'd you say, cameraman? Was it good, time-wise?
It was good. And now you're going to do calls?
Yeah, I need to have to.
And then you're going to catch a flight.
And then I'm gonna catch a flight. Well, hopefully. Hello, guys. Welcome. Jort will join us eventually. He's now somewhere with Wessel and they are having beers. Okay, so welcome. And I want to kick off the call and I want to say hi to Jackie because unfortunately we weren't able to meet in person.
Hello, I'm so disappointed I didn't get to see you.
It happens, girl. That's the thing.
Or
We are
did it?
disappointed too, but at the same time, it's like whatever you focus on, right?
I was very upset at myself for not taking the chance on possibly getting there by
I
routing
don't think that
to.
there is reason to be upset because at that point, that's not about anxiety. It's about making the decision. And if it's not even certain that you will get there on time, I think I
Right.
would cancel it too. Because if you would not, then what? Pay for another flight back for no freaking reason.
Exactly.
Why? You did what you could do. You didn't get where you were supposed to do, which that was out of your control, right? You made a
Right.
choice. And this at that point, that it's not about was it the right choice. I always teach people one thing. Once you make a choice, you make a decision, it's freaking pointless to go back and beating yourself up and examining if you did it for the right reason or if it was the right thing. It's like, because at that point, decision has been made.
Right.
No point. Because, so if anything is anxiety, it's not making the choice to just cancel the whole cruise. It's more the questioning is as to what was the reasoning behind it. Was it anxiety or did you actually make the choice? Like, that's anxiety. Responding in this case would be your mind trying to analyze if you've done it for the wrong
Right.
reason, because recovery doesn't require perfection, right? It never does. We will make mistakes. We are bound to make mistakes and it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the questioning is actually worse when it comes to anxiety, the questioning after, than even if you would make the decision for the bad reason. But hey, you already got on 2 flights. You made it. And okay, so
Yes.
you're gonna go to the next cruise. It's fine. There's many cruises.
Right. Right.
I can imagine the letdown that you felt, the stress that you were under, trying to find another alternative route to make this happen, because now it's not just a flight. Now it's the cruise, it's Mirka, it's maybe doing a video, it's all these fantastic things. and everything went to shit. And I think when it did, you got stressed out. And I think you allowed yourself to get wound to the point that you started getting sensations. You didn't expect it because you hadn't had it in so long. And I think you kicked your own ass and mentally were beating yourself up because you felt as if somehow you shouldn't feel that. And it's normal. Anybody would have felt that. And then you misinterpreted that for the mind fucks, right? Like, oh shit, I can't believe I'm back here. This isn't supposed to happen to me. Anxiety's never supposed to come back. And damn it, now I've gone back. Maybe it didn't work. I think you allowed all the what ifs and all the intrusive bullshit to get a hold of you.
Because the one thing that you do, that most people do, you most likely you just don't feel ready to do it, and that's why you think it can't happen. But you will never feel ready to do it. The first time you always do something that's out of the comfort zone, kind of out of the box, the safety box, it's gonna feel like it's gonna be rough. Your brain is gonna scream at you to not do it, and it will give you 1,000 reasons to not do it.
And I know you were previously agoraphobic, is that correct? Or?
Yes, for a full year, yes.
And you just jump on a plane and it's okay now? You can just do that? There's no issues? Or
I absolutely can do that. I totally
that's
can
amazing.
do that.
That's amazing to see somebody
Yes.
actually fully recovered.
You
It's
can
great.
you can get there. You can get there. I absolutely can do that. Yes.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Waiting for Bolt.
To
To the airport.
right.
Or maybe to get rid of Wessel's body. I mean, isn't it nice to there with the camera and the girl is dragging to the stuff, but okay. I guess that's yours for you guys.
Yep.
That's typical of him. It's like, I'm gonna carry my stuff, he's gonna
Everything for the video.
be here. Really spatsy camera.
Okay, I'll help you with that.
Stop lying.
You get home, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, bye bye.
Say hi to Weasel.
I will for you, yeah. Have a good trip.
Too, bye.
I woke up this morning with the subject in mind that I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about, which was hangovers, because I woke up hungover. And the last 2 nights I actually didn't sleep that much, and as I said, been drinking, so I woke up with a hangover. And it's always interesting because so many people that we speak to mention that the first time they felt anxious or the first time they had a panic attack was when they were hungover, which was true for me as well. It's the first real panic attack was when I actually felt similar to what I'm feeling today. And I just kind of want to say, even if you are not sensitized any longer like myself, I can still notice that on the days that you are hungover, because there's actually like a physical, your body's actually changed. Like physically, there's a disbalance in electrolytes, for example. Dehydration obviously is one of them, and you can feel various sensations, as everyone probably knows. But even when you're not sensitized, like where I find myself now, after knowing how to respond to panic, to anxiety, it's still a skill you use, not as much as before, and not for anxiety, but for other things, other emotions, or other ways, things you feel, stress you feel. And that's just like today, I notice my thoughts are racing more. I notice these strange sensations, which you can tie it to something, which is always helpful. But it requires me to apply basically the response that I've mastered and then that I now train people. And if you are sensitized still, like many of you probably watching, then with hangovers, it's even tougher to respond. So I think it's always good to know on the days that you are finding yourself hungover, you might have more anxiety symptoms, and it's a little bit tougher to respond. But it's a skill that even after anxiety recovery, you'll use basically for the rest of your life, because I can now go into checking everything, I could researching everything, I could go into overthinking a lot of things. Sometimes you do dumb stuff when you've been drinking, so you can go into all of that, like what have I done and everything, which is in the past already done. What did I say? Did I say something stupid? I don't remember, that kind of stuff. And that is all kind of like unproductive, because how does that change anything? Does it change the past? No. Does it change how I feel now? Well, yes, it does. It makes me feel worse, makes me feel more stressed. So you apply the techniques that you're learning in the program you apply these as well, for the rest of your life. And on the days when you're hungover, it's just honestly, it's way tougher to respond, especially when you're sensitized, because your baseline, stress baseline threshold, it's already higher. So when you wake up hungover, you're gonna have a little bit more of a struggle potentially responding. And it's good to know. I'd say it's good to know and do the best you can, because the best you can looks different on every given day. So that's just what came to my mind this morning, and I'm feeling a little bit better drinking water, which is a better decision. And Wessel and I were, we waved off Mirka, I don't know the English term. We waved off Mirka this morning, which is partly why I didn't sleep that long. It was like 4 in the morning, I think, when she left. And Wessel now gonna enjoy a little bit of Lisbon, the rest of Lisbon we haven't seen, so.
Just came across a cruise ship that...
Built in the Netherlands, where all the good stuff comes from. It has a Dutch flag.
You drink it every day,
You
If
do
I
every
could,
day?
no, I don't.
So you
But
come here every day, so you have every day.
That's a pretty good idea, I think.
Cheers.
If it's good limoncello.
Of course it's good.
Okay. Thank you. Cheers. He's downing it. Gotta enjoy it. Sip it.
But this was like from the house, right? So
It's on
you
the
can
house.
blame
It's
yourself.
It's very disrespectful to ignore or not accept the gift from the house. So.
Exactly. This looks like a proper vacation right now, right?
Very good ice cream. Now it's a vacation.
Do you think this is a business trip or more like a vacation?
It's a vacation, more than a business trip.
Well, we don't need to put it in because of the taxes, right?
Texas says it's a business trip. My hat says it's both. A more holiday.
Awesome.
It was good meeting Mirka and doing some work, creating content. So there was work involved. It wasn't just holiday. But look at the weather. It will always feel more like a holiday than a work trip, because I work in an office normally back home. It's very different. Normally before in an airport, I would always be scanning for like the bins, toilets, because I'd be feeling like super nauseous. I'm worried, like I'm gonna vomit, I'm gonna pass out, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. So it's always scanning for these things. It's very different now. I'm not doing those things anymore. I just got a text from Jackie. Jackie saying she's really struggling. You should have seen her 6 months ago when she reached out to us. She's made this whole journey and now went on a trip in which we always say expect anxiety to be a little bit higher. Why? Because it's only been 6 months. It can take a little while. We see people recover in a couple months to a year or even longer than a year. It's very different. It depends a little bit on how much you are willing, but also it just generally takes time. So how much are you able to practice? How much are you willing to? And how consistent are you? It just takes time. The brain's learned the plane is dangerous, the airport's dangerous, right? Which before was the case because she always get anxiety, and now it was there, and she suffered through it, which anyone would. Being at the airport, there were strikes for I think three to 4 days. I think Mirka was delayed at least 5 hours or so, 4 or 5 hours. She was actually stuck in a plane for 2 hours or about 2 hours before they actually could move because they didn't have a crew. Which is like, that sounds like hell as well, doesn't it? But the suffering part is optional. Like you can go through all this stuff and it sucks, but the suffering is optional. But you don't need to feel good. No one likes all these delays. No one likes feeling stressed out. But that's just genuinely sometimes what happens when traveling. So my advice to Jackie, I'm gonna write this to her, is to basically recognize the crap that you create around it, the stories I should have done, I've XYZ, it's back, will it ever get better? Those are all stories. You've done it before, you've responded before, and you've gone through this whole journey. Now it's back a little bit, and now it's basically time to basically go back and do the same thing, except this is maybe now less about the anxiety and more about other unproductive patterns, which is what Mirka shared with us in the park, where you don't want to just do this response on the anxiety part. Desensitize your nervous system and then forget about the whole thing, because you'll be right back. Many people may take the conclusion it doesn't work. It was only temporary, and this is one of the fears that she's having, which makes sense, which I had. The moment I labeled myself as recovered, I started to have the doubts, like, was it a placebo or whatever, was it real? And anxiety recovery is a skill. It needs practice, it needs repetition, and it doesn't need perfection, right? So we measure recovery progress basically based on how well you are responding. And to this fear now showing up in Jackie, saying like, it's back now, will it ever get better? That's the anxiety. That's the part, that's the unproductive pattern you need to respond to. So basically all that's happened is you went back to behavior, unproductive behavior you have been doing for 40 years, whatever. I don't exactly remember how long she's been, maybe all her life, right? Leading to the anxiety. You went back to something you've been habitually doing for years, for decades, right? Which is going to make sense, which is going to happen. It's just, it doesn't go away immediately. Those patterns are really deeply ingrained. So what you need to do is basically just catch yourself and then say, oh, wait a second. This is the old behavior. It doesn't help me. Let me go back to response. And that is basically how you stack that proof, as I always say, and get to that recovered position. So it does work. It's just, sometimes old behavior creeps in and you need to correct that. But she's seen it work before. She was doing everything again. She didn't have any anxiety, was sleeping again. Now she went through something very disappointing, very stressful, it just sucks. It just really does. And she's beating herself up over it, going in her head, back to the unproductive behavior. All you need to do is literally just say that, wait a second, this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned to deal with in a better way, and go and do that. And you'll see it goes away in a second. And this is how you even get more of that inner confidence of, oh, wait, I can deal with emotions, right? Unpleasant emotions specifically. I can deal with life. I can do everything again. And she's going to get on another plane. She's going to get on another cruise. But this is how it goes.
You kind of already touched on it, but like if people think, but after those 6 months, I should have been recovered, right? Or some people think, we heard it on the call.
Yeah.
After 6 months, can I fly again?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's a good point. It's very interesting. It's our program currently is 6 months. It's 6 months of support, and people sometimes feel like, oh, after those 6 months, I should be recovered. Some people don't even watch the last couple of weeks of the videos because they feel they need to then all of a sudden be magically recovered, which isn't the case. It takes. We've seen people in the program literally after 2-3 weeks, it's clicking, they're doing it, they aren't fully recovered, but they are like, it's making so much sense. Like Kyle, for example, being a couple of weeks in, he was basically doing everything again, and we haven't seen him for recently, so I think he's doing amazing. So some people, like, they recover in a couple of months. Some people it takes a little bit longer. And interestingly, indeed, Stuart on the group call, he was asking Mirka. He's like, Mirka, you're in Lisbon, right? Yeah. But you live in Czech Republic. Yeah. Did you fly there? Yeah. But you were agoraphobic, weren't you? Yeah. And it was really fun because it was like he was having a hard time to understand or to grasp, to believe maybe even, that she used to be housebound fully and was now on a plane and doing all these things again. And the mistake, I think, the misconception a lot of people have with recovery is that somehow there's some things you were able to do before you had anxiety that you'll never be able to do again. Like you recover, which is like management, more like anxiety management. So if I don't fly, I'll be good. I can do other things, but I can't fly. And that's not recovery in my book. Basically, the definition of recovery in what we do is basically you can do anything you want, anything you did before, and anxiety is not going to hold you back. It may show up as a human emotion, but when you're not so sensitized, it will show up less intense, less often. It's not so quick as it is maybe for you now if you're sensitized, but it's an emotion that may show up. Stress on an airport may show up. And so yeah, being truly recovered is where I find myself now. Is basically I do everything I want, right? I do everything I want to do. I don't have to check, oh, is anxiety there? or what if this happens, or like I said, you know, on these airport in the lines and the queues, I was always like looking for the exits. I was looking for a bin if I need to throw up, and those kind of things. And it's very freeing to not having to do those things anymore. But true recovery is you basically not caring about anxiety as much, doing everything you want to instead of managing it, which is what most people do. Unfortunately, most people manage it. Which isn't what we call a recovery. No beer. No beer. It's a rare sight of Wessel at work. Look at all that gear. Nicely sorted, cleaned up, organized.
It's like the second-hand market. You can get it whatever you want.
Half of it is worthless. This old camera. Oh, it's decent gear, man. Glad you buy all this stuff, and then I can use it. So we're back in the office after just a couple of hours of sleep. I now have my coffee, and just kind of Wes and I were just reflecting back on the trip we just had, which was a very interesting one. And I'm really hoping that the content we've created and we're sharing with you is going to be valuable to show you. You know, what we talked about in the airport yesterday, even though that it shows you one thing is, God, sorry. I hope it shows you that it's possible to do certain things again that you may not believe if you're in the anxiety cycle, which I never honestly believed I could do again. Even though back then when I had anxiety, I was still traveling. I did go on certain plane rides, but they were always like, not so much fun, to say the least, right? And now I'm able to have these trips and just be calm, have fun, and not make everything such a big problem and not have all these sensations all the time. And I'm hoping this, at least, the content we're creating is showing that, and obviously also showing you and giving you a lot of lessons and value, just coming as we go, as we riff on this. And what I was thinking is, it's very interesting what we captured here, because the reason we went was to meet Jackie, everyone knows, and none of that really happened. But what we saw is that we actually captured a very good lesson, a lot of good lessons, and one being that it's so helpful, I would even say almost necessary or non-negotiable, to have support or guidance through this journey, because as with building any skill, it requires you to be consistent, to have discipline around this and actually doing it. Many people talk about like, oh, I know acceptance or it didn't work because they didn't put in the work, right? You gotta actually build this skill, and you see that with Jackie now. She was able to utilize that support and inspire others in the journey as well. And as we got on a call and as she went to Mirka's call, she's now learning that this disappointment, this trip, and the cognitive distortions, or the way the brain kind of tends to reframe this experience, was something she needed to respond to once again. It was like a little bit of a punch in the face, so to say, a setback, whatever you want to call it. And she had to kind of get back to saying, oh wait, I know what to do. My brain is making this all about anxieties, making a big story around this, that I couldn't go, and I failed massively, even though the airport was on strike. The airport was on strike, she couldn't make the cruise. Her friend who didn't have anxiety also wanted to go home, not take the risk. That's human, but the brain will create this whole story. So Jackie's now responding, she's doing well, and it shows that it's so amazing to do this together. I just came off a coaching call with Maria, and Maria was also very excited about having this community, and for the first time being open about anxiety, actually speaking about it to get through it, right? And not to make it your identity, but to get through it and to support each other and get the support yourself. So I'm about to get on one of my weekly group calls and see these amazing people in our community. And if that's you, if you're watching, you're in the program, I would definitely recommend you, if you aren't already, to utilize that. Utilize this support, because that is incredibly important. You can know everything on what to do, you can understand everything, but the actual doing it, and then the anxious brain worrying, did I do it right? Am I doing X, Y, Z? It's just so tough to do on your own. And if you have people on the outside, for us it's easy because we're not in it. We can give advice, we can mirror, because we are out of it and we've seen it so many times, not just with ourselves, but with hundreds and thousands of people. Mirka having 6 years of experience in this field, it's been, we're very quick to she's very quick to go into like, I think this is the thing, or you're doing fine, you're doing great, you just need to, stay patient and be consistent, because as we talked about, Wes and I talked about yesterday in the airport, it doesn't mean after 6 months you're done, especially not if the patterns you're using, we've been using them for a very long time. We've been resisting how we feel or how the brain sometimes functions, and anxiety itself for years sometimes, right? We've had people with 50 years of anxiety in the program. So it's natural that it takes a little while. And I think that is some takeaway I want to give you guys to kind of wrap this up. And I want to also, I want to inspire you to let us know what you think about these videos, because that means if you guys like it, if it has value in it, we'll create more of it. And if you say, I like to hear more about this, or I like when you guys do that, that is something we hopefully can create. So, happy to be back. Little bit, how do you say it? It's a bittersweet feeling, because I was really enjoying Lisbon, and but it's good to be back now. And I think after my call today, I'll just sleep for 2 hours straight and return back here on Monday. What do you say, Wessel? Is that okay?
You're only sleeping for 2 hours?
2 hours?
2 hours straight?
Did I say that? Two So I'm gonna sleep for 2 days straight. 2 hours. My brain is only thinking in hours now, because we didn't get so much, or probably minutes. Do you think that captures it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next videos. You see this a lot of people when they retire and they give it a little bit more. Because it sounds like you have a lot of times to think. This is focus on this. Right? There's definitely there's also very going on, and there's